I love being able to grow your own pack of wolves in this game. See, what I found really fun about this game is how quickly the game escalates and the way you upgrade your abilities. So if you look here at your player board, you can upgrade your pack spread, which is how many wolves are moving per action. You can also upgrade your wolf speed, which is super important in this game. This is how far away your wolves can move to. And then your howl range. This is how far away your alpha wolf, which is your really big wolf. This is how far away that alpha wolf can dominate other wolves. So in one game, Jackie wasn't paying attention to the amount of snow tiles that I was accumulating on my board. I had 3, and in order to dominate, you have to have 3 snow tiles. And one of her wolf packs was led astray on the snow tile. So then with my 3 snow tiles lined up, boom, dominate, took over her wolf pack, gained 8 points just like that. Hello everyone, welcome back to a very thematic game for us today for the community. Welcome back, Wolfpack. Today, we are reviewing The Wolves by Pandasaurus Games, and you may be asking yourself, well, Tim, what is the game all about? What's the whole point of this game? You're talking about dominate and mixing in all these words here. What do those actions mean? I'm going to tell you right now. So what is the whole point of this game? Well, you are trying to be the most dominant wolf pack, and you're going to be scoring points from controlling territories, hunting prey, and leveling up your pack. This is an area control game, so you're trying to expand your influence, but what makes this game unique is how you take your actions. Check out these 6 terrain tiles. This is probably one of the biggest highlights for this game for me, and that is how these unique tiles are utilized in the game. So if I wanted to move over to a forest terrain, we're in the forest today because forest wolves in. If I want to move over to the forest terrain, what I'm going to do is flip over one of these tiles, and then I can move a number of wolves depending on my pack spread and speed. See, this right here is where the game really brings you into the theme, because speed, it makes you feel really freaking fast in this game, and movement really matters as you're trying to dominate the territories. That's only movement though, it gets better. On the map, there are actually some lone wolves that if you spend 2 tiles to howl, you can recruit them into your pack. This is one way that you can gain victory points as you take wolves from your board, and also one way that you can recruit more wolves. You see how there are big wolves, aka alphas? Now these alpha wolves are the ones that are tied to your stronger actions. They're the ones that can howl at the lone wolves in order to convert them into your pack and build dens and dominate other wolves. We'll get all into that. So in summary, you flip over one tile, and that tile has to match the terrain that you're going for. And when you flip over one tile, you can move your wolves. Again, you're looking at your pack spread and your speed in order to see how far you can go and with how many wolves that you can move with. You flip over 2 tiles, and then you can howl, which lets you gather up lone wolves in order to recruit them into your pack on the map. And then you can also build dens and lairs. Dens allow you to unlock new abilities from your player board. So you keep building dens, you unlock more speed, more howl range, more pack spread. And then lairs are like super strong versions of dens, because at the end of each round, you count up how much dominance that you have over a territory. If you have a lair, it counts for a lot more points. And lairs also give you a bunch of points too as you unlock them as well. Okay, so here's my absolute favorite part about this game, and that is the last action. Now, we know what happens when you flip over 1 tile, that's movement, and flip over 2 tiles, that's building a den and howl and lairs as well. But if you flip over 3 tiles, that's when you can take an action called dominate. This means that if your opponent is within howl range of your alpha, you can remove that piece permanently from the board to go to the countdown track, also known as the moonlight board, and then you gain another wolf. Basically, you take over another person's wolf. So you can see how this is going to incite some table talk around the table. Now, I know that some people may not be a big fan of like take that mechanisms, but I think dominate really fits super well in this game because it makes you pay attention to every single person's turn and also where their location is on the board. It makes you think a lot about the pre-planning steps, because dominate is not easy to perform because you do have to have 3 tiles flipped over. And B, it also makes you be very wary and conscious of everyone's decisions around the table, which increases that player interaction. And I think because the dominate action exists, because everyone's trying to be wary of that action, then it really increases the player interaction around the board. Now, plus the different wolves aren't asymmetric. There aren't any unique abilities or anything, but the type of wolf that you start with does matter because, for instance, the forest wolves only get 1 more forest tile, and the snow wolves will get 1 more snow tile, and so on. So that means that you can only dominate your own terrain, which I also think thematically fits. Now, the last thing I want to mention before diving into my full thoughts about this game is that you can hunt prey. Once you surround a prey with 3 wolves, then you will hunt that prey, and this is a really viable way of scoring a lot of points. You also can't turtle around one prey because you can only capture a unique prey and then have to move on to the next prey in order to add it onto your player board. That's why in the beginning I said speed is super important, because speed really matters as you're traveling around to hunt the rabbit, the boar, the moose, all different kinds of prey around the board. Now, aside from points and attributes, you can also unlock temporary tokens. Like this token gives you a bonus action, and this is the wild token that lets you count it as any terrain when using your actions. Now, the last thing you might be asking is, well, how does the game end and how do you score? Each time you build a lair or recruit lone wolves or dominate, pieces are going to fill up on this moonlight board. Depending on the player count, the game counts down and you'll score a specific moon region once a marker hits that part of the moonlight board, and then regions with that particular moon will score. You also know exactly which moon will be scored in each round, so the priority will shift from region to region, making you move around the board throughout the entire game. And that's how the wolves works. As soon as you hit the full moon, you count up all the points from regions that you're dominant in and all of the unlocked regions on your board. Most points wins. Okay, here's what I don't like about this game. So at 2 players, I don't think this game really shines. I feel like it is a lot better played at 3 players and up. Reason why is because at 2 players, there's an AI that is just stationed around the board. And for me, I don't like a lot of maintenance for an AI. I get that. I also get that, when you're trying to play with 2 players, sometimes you need that third player to fill in a spot. That way you have more roles around the board. But I think it's just really stale when as soon as you pass the certain amount of dominance that you need in order to pass like the AI in this game, then the AI no longer matters. I felt like it would have been a lot more dynamic if it introduced some kind of die roll. That way the AI can move around the board as well. Just think of the AI in this game at a 2-player count as a metric. As soon as you pass that metric, it no longer matters. So that's why for me, I didn't really like the player interaction at 2 players because the AI was really stale. So I just think that there could have been better implementation of having that 3rd player controlled character when you're playing at 2 players. Another thing I also didn't like was that, so the upgrades, the pack spread, wolf speed, the howl range, all those upgrades are really, really fun when you first start out the game. But I feel like once you experience a specific path towards victory, like whether you're going towards hunting prey and scoring all the points there, whether you're going towards upgrading all your dens into lairs. Once you experience those upgrades and feeling OP towards the end, I feel like that's kind of it. Because I think there are 2 main strategies. Either you go for lairs or you go for hunting prey. And full disclaimer, I have played this game 3 times, twice at 2 players and once at 3 players. After all those times, I feel like the game has definitely gotten repetitive, but it doesn't mean that I wouldn't play it over and over again. I just feel like I would have this game introduced to new groups of people, but I wouldn't really play this game over and over again with the same group. Don't get me wrong, I would still play this game anytime, but I feel like because you have the tundra wolf and the desert wolf and the rocky wolf and the grass wolf, you have all this build up to having asymmetric powers, and then you don't have asymmetric powers. Like, yes, the game is very clean, it's very tight, and it's very quote balanced, but I feel like it was a big miss to not introduce asymmetric powers when you are building them out as you're introducing different types of wolves and different types of terrain. But again, it makes it a very clean game, very tight game when you don't have to balance those asymmetric powers as well. But again, since it's such a tight mechanism, then you lose that lack of variability, and the reason why I think it's a little repetitive. However, there's a really clever push and pull play happening in this game. Like, what's awesome is that I could be building a den over here in order for me to actually, in like the back of my mind, be converting a tile to have a 3rd forest tile because I want to dominate another pack of wolves on the other side of the map. Because your actions are cleverly hidden behind mechanisms like that, and because everyone has to be very conscious of what you're doing, that right there makes the game super interesting. Like being able to divide everyone's attention and also subvert your own actions, that right there is really fun. Bottom line, the unique tile flipping mechanism and implementation of that into area control and the high player interaction, despite the lack of variability, is what keeps this game in my collection. Hence why you saw all these bougie fancy upgrades, the wooden inserts, and all that to the player boards. It's really, really fun and definitely keep it in my collection. Overall, I'm giving this game a 4.2 out of 5, and here's why. The game's biggest weak point for sure is replayability. I think the strategy is pretty linear overall. mostly focusing on building layers or hunting prey since those do score the most amount of points, while all the other upgrades do give you some choices on how to go about that. But player interaction is amazing. You really have to be on your toes and be diligent on knowing what everyone else is doing, because that is going to affect your ability to dominate other wolves and territories. The theme, unsurprisingly, is amazing to me because wolves, and well, you get that? It really does feel like you're traveling with a pack of wolves and competing with other wolves for prey and for dens and so on. Mechanics are clean. This is a very clear area control game. The terrain tiles being used as actions is unique and super cool. Production quality is great overall. I love the different wolf meeples. Even the layers have wolf cuddles in them. There's a ton of detail and I love the artwork. My only gripe about the production was that the inserts were pretty bad and actually slowed down my setup time, which is why I got these custom inserts. So with that said, this is my review on the Wolves. Great game overall. If you're looking for area control, if you're looking to spice things up around the table by dominating other wolves and really keeping everyone conscious of their actions and making everyone be wary of what everyone else is doing, I think this is going to be a great mind game, a mind area control game that you might want to check out. So thank you all so much for watching. If you made it here to the very, very end, then you know exactly what to comment for this particular video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.